what we intended to do back in the 90s was to create some ways in which to hold policing services, law enforcement accountable. We could not have anticipated that we would be in this situation where we would have to be fighting for justice in terms of wrongful arrests. But it's increasingly so and quite troubling. We are seeing police arriving at domestics. And though they have evidence of abuse, what we're seeing increasingly is that they're not following their own policies and they are creating dual charging or dual arrests. It's an extension of the pro-arrest policies that organizations like the organization I work for wanted to create the conditions where those that did harm would be held accountable. But now we are in a situation where not only are they not being held accountable, but now the tables have turned in a sense, and police are not following through in ways that are effective and arresting both parties, sort of throwing up their hands and saying, "Let the courts figure it out." But it has huge implications. Within most of the funding models within Canada, the services are based on those that access the services determined to have been a victim. So when we have a woman who has been wrongfully arrested, she is no longer considered a victim. She is considered a perpetrator and then is ineligible for most of the services that would be available. And this is very concerning because what we have then is a victim of domestic violence who is excluded from services and who is still at risk of increased violence, but now is at risk also of further criminalization by the state. This is really concerning for us because for Indigenous women, for Black women, for newcomer women, they're already experiencing so many barriers to accessing services, so many barriers to employment, so many barriers to be able to thrive within Canada. And so when they are experiencing domestic violence, the last thing that we want to see is the police then conducting an investigation that is biased against the Indigenous women, Black women, or racialized women. There is institutional racism within policing. And that, unfortunately, that institutional attitudinal racism does get acted out when police are attending a domestic violence situation and is impacting police investigations to the detriment of Black women, Indigenous women, and racialized women of color. And it forms one of the many barriers to the reasons why we see victims not accessing the police, and that we have to seriously contend with to what extent law enforcement is actually part of a women's safety plan.